my first memories of the library are of the bookmobile coming next door to our neighbor's house, and I just could not wait until the bookmobile got there every week. And I would go and pick out new books every week. And I just loved reading. When I was little, my mom says that before school started, I just could not wait to learn how to read. And they kept telling me, oh, in second grade, you're gonna learn how to read. And when I got to second grade, I was like, all right, I'm ready, first day, let's read. So yeah, I've been going to the library for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I've been coming to this library since I was a baby.
I mean, I grew up with that. I mean, I rode my bike to the library, and you'd sign up for summer reading programs, and that's what you did. I mean, you read 20, 30, 40 books during the summer, and the librarian knew you by first name, and it was the place around the corner.
The library is amazing. I thought it was amazing because I could do anything I wanted. And then I started, when I got a little bit older, I was able to actually understand how everything worked, and it just was amazing to me. It was so great.
First time I could remember, I was probably like maybe 1 or 2, and we came to see a ballet or something in here.
There were just like shelves and rows, and I'd just be like going through all of them. I'd see like all my favorite books, the books I read just as really little, and I'd see them and I'd be like, I want to read this book. And I'd find new ones and I'd be like, I want to read that one. So, getting my library card was like the coolest thing ever, because I could just go and I could just get any book I wanted.
If you're not the richest person in the world, you can come to Storytime. And that's a really great, family bonding kind of experience, because it costs you nothing. But you get to do something with your family together. And so, sometimes it was really kind of neat because they had some in the evening so Dad could come. And that was a big deal because since my husband was a Navy pilot, he was gone a lot. And so, Becky or the boys would say, are you coming to Storytime with us? Are you going to come? And sometimes he would show up in his flight suit in the back of the room because, here he was coming back from a dad or a mission. And so he was coming in, and it was a big deal for the kids to share that with him. And that was a neat thought.
And then, of course, I had a child and started bringing her to Storytime and started her out on the summer reading program the first year she was alive. And she just she's the same as me. She loves books. She will sit and read for hours.
So, I'd read they might have the first one in a big series, and then I would read it and I'd be like, this is awesome. Now I might read another one in the summer reading. I'd be like, this is awesome too. So, I'd find new books, I'd find new stories, I'd find new everything. And the librarians here, they would be like, so you like this book when you read it over the summer reading? And I'd be like, yeah. And they'd say, well, why don't you read this one? Why don't you read that one? So, I just had all these books I would read.
I've been doing the kids summer reading program and the teens summer reading program for a long time.
The library offered different classes, English, computer, many things.
What have I not done at the library? I have learned how to knit. I took a quilting class. I've played Scrabble. I've been to many cooking demonstrations where there are always wonderful samples.
We made a treasure box out of a shoebox, and then we painted it. And we decorated the cupcakes with gold coins and beads for filling outside and everything. It was fun.
There was the archery workshop last year, and then the Harry Potter marathons. They did that for 2 or 3 years in a row.
And they had this chalk outside that you could do, and they had book-centered activities. You could do all these games that the volunteers, they had face painting, they had everything.
I get movies. We get movies, and then we play them on the ride for vacation, and then we get lots of CDs and stuff.
They have a lot of magazines. I like getting magazines out, and the Friegel website is amazing. I love that. Getting free music, 3 free songs a week is awesome.
it's a tremendous asset. When a child goes to a regular public school system, they have the benefit of the school library. And in our family, we used to, people would ask us, well, if you homeschool, where do you get the stuff you need to homeschool? And we're like, we have the biggest school library of anybody living in Slidell, and the librarians become a part of your family. We would, when the children were much younger, and even now as high school students, we do 1 day a week where the kids actually spend most of the day at the library and they're learning research skills. And for all the use that you get out of the internet, there's nothing quite like having to go find a book and go find a citation out of a book and actually be able to add that to the information that you're putting together for a research paper or for a homework assignment.
Oh yeah, definitely. The library is definitely the big place to come to for information, for help, for getting work for a project done, or just a quiet place to do homework when you have lots of siblings at home.
We actually used to come a lot and actually bring our schoolwork for the day and just stay at the library all day and just do our work, and then afterward on our off time we would just go and look things up and just have fun and just find fun books to read, just sit there all day at the library and just have fun.
Because in this day and age of internet and everything's at your fingertips, there is something really cool about showing up at a place and saying, I would have never looked for that subject. I would have never thought about this author. I would have never thought about this book. I would have never thought about this in this particular way if you hadn't come across that one book that changes the way you look at things and your perspective about things. So you don't get that from looking it up on the internet.
I just love every month when I have to go there because it is just gratifying to me to know that I am providing a service to these people, and just when I walk in the door, they're there to greet me and they're saying, oh, what do we have this month? What do we have this month?
The lady is so nice. She brings all these large print books, and so I don't have to really go out to go to the library.
I don't only love it because of what they say, but because of what I can do for them, the happiness that I can bring to them as individuals.
I've always got a list or a little shelf full of books because I can't be without them.
I turn around and I say, oh, yes, ma'am, what can I help you with? And she said, oh, honey, can you please bring me this special movie? So I said, sure. So I said, what do you want? And she said, do you have Casablanca? I said, yes, ma'am, I do. I said, I'll be more than happy to get it for you. So I brought it to her the next month, and you would have thought I gave the lady $1 million.
I just want to devour everything I can while my eyes are still able.
I read about a book every day.
I read about 2 or 3 books a week.
I'll go to bed and be reading. The next morning I find the book on the floor. I don't know how long I read, but it's there.
I really appreciate that service.
There are wonderful people in this library here.
Oh, it's been great because I love to read.
The appreciation that they have for the library for doing this, for providing this service is just unbelievable. I go in and they're thrilled to see me, but when I leave they say, can't wait to see you next month.
All the people are working in the library. They are very polite. They help to a lot and include, I need something and they go to looking an extra box and they offer me. Mm-hmm. It's incredible how are the people very, very good.
If your kid's looking in the library, for something in particular, that the librarian's going to come up and say, hey, you know what? I've got a better answer for you than that book. Here, let me find you another book that might be along your speed. And it's a very powerful thing when, you build relationships like that. They
would find books that we would like, and then they would check them out for us before we got there. And then they would just give us books that like a smaller book from a series, and then we would start reading a whole bunch of different series, and that's where we would start to find books that we liked there. So it was a lot of fun.
And the people that work there are wonderful, with children or with adults, either one.
I'd come to the library. I haven't even gone all week, and they'd have like a stack of books this high, just being like, Nathaniel, you'll love these. Go check these out. So I was like, okay, and I'd read them all, bring them back, and I'd be like, are they in a series? Are there more like them? And they'd be like, yes. Come and read them.
When I first got to St. Tammany Parish, I married my husband and moved here, and I didn't know anyone. And back home, I had lots of friends, and my family was really close, so I had a lot of support system there. And so when I got here, I knew no one, and I found a library book group. They met at the library, and I joined that and made lots of friends.
We walked into the Covington Library. This was several years ago, and with the seven, not knowing that this was the main branch, so he was rather like, "Wow!" And you remember that day?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have good time because I am going to other library to try to learn English, second language, and they feel surprised when they watch me in the picture, and that makes me feel so happy.
Yeah. Well, when he came in that first time, you remember you looked at me and you said, he said, "Can I have any of these books?"
It's like, if you spend however long in the library, you can learn almost everything there is to know.
And I think it's much better to go to the school because I can find anything for study.
Right.
That's making me feel so happy.
For him, a library is like a school because everything is available to you. There, any subject that you want, whether it's a movie or a DVD or a book or just, and then the people behind the desk are like teachers because they will help you find what you need. Yes. But when I showed him, I said, here's the magic yellow card. The library card, and he's like, "Can I have one of these?" I said, "Yes, you can." So for him, that's like the key to a treasure chest. That he comes here, and it took a while. He would always say, "Senora, let's go to the library together." And after a while, he said, I'm going by myself."
My dad, it's funny because my family's Cuban, so I learned to read both in English and Spanish. And so that's a very big deal, actually, that the library now has a fairly larger, collection of Spanish books. Our community's growing in that sense. And I think that too, when you're trying to teach a child a second language, like if you're an English speaker and you're trying to learn Spanish, it is something quite different to look at a book that you're familiar with in a different language. Because, one of the things that when Becky was learning to speak Spanish, we got the Cat in the Hat in Spanish, and it was the coolest thing. She knows this story. This is a story she knows by heart, but suddenly it opens up to her in a different language because we have that availability to do that.
Because in coming from Mexico, of course, they don't have the types of libraries that he grew up, or in a school environment, much smaller, not much, that could offer to you. And so this is an incredible opportunity for him.
There's so many branches. It's not just one library. It's all of them that belong to all of us.
So you can go and you can learn everything that makes humanity what it is today because you have all the books. You have everything. You'll have from hundreds of years to go to modern day. You just have everything and you can learn everything over again.
It's incredible how I can find anything for study, for to be much better, videos, books, anything I want, I can find right here.
Sometimes when I come to check out a book at the library, or we're here, or we're doing something, I can actually see like little ghosts of my children's childhood in the hallways. I can see, my daughter who's a sophomore at the university now, I can see her as an 8 and 9-year-old, out there looking for a book and saying, "Hey, can I check out this shark book? Can I do this?" Or I can see Nathaniel signing his first library card. So it's a neat thing. It's a powerful memory.
And that's the thing that is so good about the library. It not only has books, it has so many other places that you can get things and have children and everybody around.
If you want self-starters and self-thinkers, if you want, entrepreneurs, if you want scientists, if you want builders, if you want, our kids don't become these things because we tell them to. They become these things because they imagine it. And you don't do that in front of a television set. That's passive learning. Reading is active learning. You have to change a little. You have to imagine a little.